After having recently beat Dark Souls 3 and having decided I am now a masochist, and in my desperate attempt to quench my thirst for Hollow Knight as I await Silksong, I came across a game called Grime, which is like if Dark Souls and Hollow Knight had an unprotected one-night stand and the resulting baby forced the two into an unhappy marriage in which the child doesn't get any attention, and I say this because Grime doesn't get any attention, which is why today I will tell you why you should play Grime. Before I go into the 2.5D Metroidvania platformer and acid-induced trip that is known as Grime, I can't emphasize enough how little recognition this game has. The only two notable YouTubers who have made videos on it are Mythymoo and Indeimaus, and both of them miss an optional boss, which might be the most ass-clenching, teary-eyed, sweaty palm boss in the game, as well as an entire optional area. Also, the Backlogs made a couple really good videos in the game, so I highly suggest you go watch them. This game has been reviewed less on Steam than fucking Lunch Lady, yet everyone said this game is amazing. Why is it so amazing, you might ask? I don't know, man, it's just fucking fun. You play as a black hole with more suction power than a Miel Boost CX-1 Park. You got this cool parry move that goes and kills enemies, so you go around like the masochist you are, begging to be hit. Hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Hit me. You get this smooth dash move and this other cool move where you can suck platforms and enemies towards you to make them easier to reach. The weapons are more creative than the ideas in every EA game combined. There's this one weapon called the Earglaive that goes whoosh, 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 and there's this other weapon that's almost the same except it doesn't have the whoosh at the end, and you're like, well, this weapon sucks ass, until you realize the more times you swing it, the faster it gets. There's this one weapon that's fairly weak until you use its special, and it doubles the damage you do on any attack, and it's only to name a few. The leveling system is pretty much what you would expect from a Dark Souls inspired game, with the ability to increase strength, dexterity, and resonance. I personally went for a dexterity build, purely to use the Earglaive, but looking at weapon showcases for this game, they all look sick as fuck. The areas have a wide variety of unique features and settings. Some areas have teeth, some have eyeballs, and some have toothy flowers. Hold on. Hear me out. Ah yes, this story. Okay, so from what I can understand, these rock people are literally mined out of the world and they hate themselves and have big sad because they look kind of ugly, so they try to attain perfection by smashing their heads to bits, and most of them seem to hate you just out of jealousy because your character is just so fucking alpha, and I should probably stop here before I spoil anything too important. Nonetheless, the story is told through the environment, and fun fact, environmental storytelling is better than exposition dumps shoved down your throat like you're a goose being force-fed to eventually have your liver harvested and sold as foie gras. I crave smooth, fun, and typically fast movement in video games. It's why I love games like Doom Eternal and Hollow Knight, where if your movement is sucky, you're gonna get fucky. Jumping, dashing, dodging, and weaving through platforming segments and combat is what makes you feel like an absolute alpha gamer. Some people seem to think that the platforming in this game is clunky and too heavily relied on at the end of the game, but I couldn't disagree more. I think stringing together pulls, dashes, and jumps is super satisfying once you get a feel for it. It feels like when you put a lot of time into cooking a dish and all your roommates are making instant meals or using the air fryer, and you're getting really hungry and almost regret spending so long making food, but then when you taste it, you know your dish is a million times superior to what your roommates made, and you don't regret it anymore. Okay, I've already briefly spoken about the parry, but let me go a little bit deeper into it. Okay, so there's a parry and an absorb. If the health bar is red, you can absorb the attack instantly, removing that segment of the health bar, but if it's gray, you perform a parry, which stops you from taking damage, but doesn't damage the enemy unless you upgrade one of your skills using hump points that you collect from killing specific enemies known as Great Prey. Oh, and most importantly, every attack that isn't red can be parried. Projectiles can be parried and thrown back to the center. This giant rock dude can be parried. And these weird guys who appear to be horribly disfigured and have a stinger, I can parry them too. Also, absorbing is practically the only way to get breath so you can heal. This is not an easy game by any means. In the Steam Global Achievements, there's about a 30% drop off between those who beat the first boss and those who beat the second, and this is purely a skill gap. You heard me. If you quit the game in between the first and second boss, it's because you're bad at the game and no other reason. But Phil, the pacing of the game slowed down. The pacing did not slow down, you just died so many times that you felt like you weren't making progress. There are some bosses I must have died to at least 20 times, but beating them gave me a bigger dopamine rush than taking methamphetamine. As for the music, I've been using it throughout this entire video and it's incredible. It's got this majestic yet somber feel that matches the setting of this profoundly desolate world. I'd throw this in my gym playlist and turn it to Johnny Bravo in a second. Just listen to this shit. Although these tracks may not seem as iconic as other games, I don't think they're meant to be. I think the purpose is to elevate the experience of the bosses and the world, and to that extent it works perfectly. The sound design is amazing and it all just fits. Alex Rowe is a musical mastermind whose love of Soulborne style music blows my own out of the water. This video has been over a year in the making, mostly in part due to being an engineering student and also the desire not to be an editing gremlin spending hours at a time to edit only 12 seconds of a video. But in that time, the developers, being the sickest people to never do a kickflip, have come up with several massive updates and DLCs for the game, including brand new areas, super fun new bosses, and a real unique take on New Game Plus, where most enemies and all bosses have brand new attacks and moves, not to mention brand new bosses, weapons, and dialogue. As I'm editing this, I just saw the teaser trailer for Grime 2 and it looks fucking incredible. So please, give this game a chance. The demo is completely free on Steam and I promise you won't regret it. I truly hope that this video has convinced you why you should play Grime.